All right, so I got cut off. No worries. Part two, take two. We have this fabulous cookie batter right now, and it is very silky smooth and shiny. That is the butter doing its magic. All right, the butter, the oil, the applesauce, all of that is creating this really, look at this. Can you see? How do I get this so you can see how gooey and dark? It's got this beautiful, I'm going to bring it close. It has this beautiful shine to it. Can you see that from my light? This is going to be a super tasty recipe. I'm curious if my kids will like the dark chocolate over the milk chocolate. You never know. All right, so one more time, I'm just going to scrape the bottom to make sure I have all of the dry ingredients off. Scrape off my spatula here. And remember, this has eggs in it, so please don't lick this. I know it's so tempting. All right, so next on the list is a small bowl. So you need a separate bowl because we're gonna mix some dry ingredients, and this is when my grandma would make gravy and there would be lumps in the gravy and it would be like this dry clump of flour. You definitely don't want this in your baking. So I always suggest to have your dry ingredients mixed in a separate bowl before you add it to your wet ingredients. So in this one, we're gonna add flour, baking powder, and salt, okay? So in this one, we're going to, once again, create your spout, and we're gonna pour your flour. If you remember just from week one alone, I already pre-poured it, and so I sifted it because we wanna make sure that we have air up in that flour. If you have too much flour, it becomes really dense. Now here's my clip. Remember, I like to clean up as I'm going. So in a previous week, we talked about gluten. And gluten is the protein that's in the flour. And if you have more gluten, you're going to have a chewier cookie. If you have less gluten, it's going to be more crumbly. Now, the gluten is in regular flour. So in a previous week, we talked about different types of flours, the rice flours, your wheat flours, your spice, not the right word, spelt flour, pea powder. There's a whole bunch of different types of powders that you can use. We're just using all-purpose flour for today. And if you have gluten intolerant or celiac friends, I really implore you to do a little bit of research on which flour is best and what you have to add to it so it becomes a glue. And this is the whole gluten thing, your flour is that glue that makes everything either bind together or it's going to fall apart. When the gluten processing first came about, all of the companies had like these wonderful tasting, some actually were not good tasting, gluten pancakes, waffles, cookies, brownies, or whatever. But as soon as you'd bite into it, they would fall apart and they'd be full of crumbs. And some of them tasted like cardboard, I will agree. But it's because they didn't figure out what to put together as that complex ingredient to make sure that it's a good glue to replace that gluten. So when you have your flour, make sure that you sift it so it has the air in there. I always try to remember, if you can shake it, if you measured this and I have a cup and a third, and if I shake it and it comes out to be a cup and a third, you have too much in here. So right now, after compacting it and taking out all that air, it's about a little over 1 cup. I wish also that they would have measurements that it would be compressed flour because it would be so much better to measure than sift your flour. So once it's in here, I want to take a spoon and I actually just want to put a little bit more air in there. And that's really just stirring it back in so it's not so compact and you don't have these lumps. So second thing, we're going to take our baking powder. The baking powder is part of the piece that makes everything kind of gel and rise. So in here, if you have the clumps, and this tends to clump with humidity, and like I said, it's New York here, it is hot, it's humid, take a spoon, and you're just going to take the back of the spoon, and I'm going to like press it against the edge as I'm stirring it. So I'm just pressing it down, and you can hear pop, 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 all those really hard, it's almost, they look like rock crystals. They are, as I get all the dusty here, they're just kind of crumbling it up. So from here now, it is a very fine powder, okay? So from here, I grew up and we had canisters that had half of the top covered, and it was really easy because you could measure your spoon along this. They don't make it that way right now, at least this company doesn't. So I'm gonna take my finger and I'm just going to run it across, or you could take a knife, like even the back of your spoon would work really well. I wonder if I can do this. Are you magical, Amy? Can you balance all of this? And you're just gonna scrape. Oh, I did it. And it's super flat. Look at that. So that is 1/2 of a teaspoon going into my bowl of flour. All right, so from here, then I'm also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, this is really important. If you are using salted butter, don't use salt because it's gonna just be too much salt and you'll taste it. And it's not, you don't want this to be salted flavor. So from here, I'm just gonna take 1/2, and you kind of can jiggle this and pour it in there. Into the sink, into the put away zone. So I'm gonna take my dry spoon and I'm just gonna go around in a circle, try to create that little nest. And then this is where I practice my folding. A few weeks ago, we practiced folding. Folding is just like if you're gonna fold a beach towel. So you lay it out flat, you pick up one side and you fold it onto the other. Lay it out flat, you pick it up and fold it over. It's the same thing I'm gonna do in here. So if I scrape the edge of my spoon and I flip it over, scrape it flat, and flip it over into the middle. Then you can create that little bird's nest in the middle one more time, and then scrape and flip. That's your folding. So practice here because in a few minutes we're gonna fold in some chocolate chip cookies, and oops, maybe I poured too much like me. We'll have to eat them. All right, so once your dry ingredients are all mixed together and there's no clumps, you don't wanna have like a taste of flour on one side and a taste of baking soda. If you've never tasted baking soda, it's awful by itself. It does wonderful science things, but it's not good for taste by itself. So from here, I like to start my mixer and then I'm gonna slowly pour this in. Again, I put the glass, I know my materials, glass towards the metal, and I'm just gonna slowly pour 1 spoonful at a time, okay? I'm gonna give this a minute and come back. Hang on 1 second. All right, so we are at a point now where I'm gonna stop this and you can hear me better. And remember, you wanna scrape the edges and the bottoms to make sure that you get all of that flour or dry materials out. Once you can see that everything is a really dark brown, you know it's gonna be super yummy, yummy, yummy. All right, so somebody just asked me here if the gluten from flour, the wheat flour, is a protein, and the answer is yes. Wheat has the protein in the gluten, as well as barley and rye, and then your other flours, like I said before, your pea, your spelt, rice, corn? I'm gonna Google that, I'm not sure, but I think corn does not have protein in it. Corn chips, corn tortillas, they're so crumbly, possibly. Oh, my brain is crazy. All right, so from here, I'm going to take apart my mixer, and if you're using a whisk or something, this is the best time to just clean it up and put it away. Remember, don't lick it because there is an egg in here. This is the part where we are going to slowly fold in your chips. So I am just going to quickly take this apart. I know that we're running out of time here. Oh, this would be so fabulous to lick. And the other thing that I still need to do, because my helpers have left me high and dry. It is a beautiful day, so it is a cool time. I'm just gonna leave that for a second. I know I'm being very messy here. Look at this, the flour made it quite stiff, so we have these real thick dough as of right now. I'm gonna take this right off. You've been fabulous. And I am going to pour in some of the chocolate chips. Remember, your chocolate chips, they have a wax stabilizer in them, so they will retain their shape when you heat them up. Unlike the wafers, which are a little bit thicker, they're perfect for your ganaches. They will lose their shape, and you can just heat them up in the microwave even and melt them down. These take a little bit more, especially if you're tempering chocolate. Whole other conversation there for tempering chocolate. So with this, I'm just gonna pour in, now, sidebar, this recipe asks for 1/3. I did a little bit more. I really like chocolate, so I did a little bit more than 1/3 chocolate. If you want this to be kind of sparse with your chocolate chips, put in 1/3. I think that is a recommendation. I put in 1/4. It's a little bit more because I did 1/3 and then 1/4 on top of it. So 1/3 plus 1/4. We'd have to do some math there. The least common denominator is 12. Oh, I'm missing the best part. When you fold, look at this. So remember when we said we're gonna lay our towel out and fold it over? Same thing here. I'm gonna use the edge of my spatula and I'm gonna scrape that edge along here, just kind of scooping up as much as it is and then flipping it over, okay? And again, you only have dough on the front side. It shouldn't have much on the back. So from here, again, we're gonna scrape and flip it over and you're just getting those cookies in there, all right? Now, if you want to, like karate chop it from here, that's totally fine. The reason why I hand fold in the chocolate chips is because if I did this with a mixer, if I did this with a whisk, all of that stuff would get caught right in the middle of the whisk, but also it would probably chop up your chocolate chips. That's chocolate chip abuse. So we're just gonna fold them in. We're flipping it over quite nicely, making sure that you get all the edges, get all that dough into one little ball. And then, we have to grease this still. I'm gonna take a little bit of oil and a square of paper towels. I just took one paper towel and I folded it until I get this beautiful little corner. I have a small coin size of oil. Ooh, it's dripping all over. Oil on here, and I'm just going to, almost like I'm washing a window, just smear, isn't that such a fun word? Smear your oil all over this. And since it is nice and dry, I am going to throw this away immediately. Boom, into the garbage we go. So the last thing we do, we're gonna finish this in about 1 minute. I have chocolate on me. I'm a true artist now. That's pretty gross. And we're gonna take a scoop. This is my ice cream scoop, or you can use 2 teaspoons, and I'll show you both ways. So I'm just gonna scoop this on here. I like to make a domino pattern of 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way across. If you don't have a scoop, no problem. Take 2 teaspoons, and you're gonna grab 1 teaspoon, and you're gonna use the other teaspoon, the back of it, and you're just gonna kind of slide it off. So that makes 2 little oops, right and left. So like I said, oh, this guy's sliding around from that oil. I like to do a domino pattern, so I do 2, 1 in the middle, make sure that they're 2 inches apart so they can spread, and then you spend some time cleaning up. I have the oven preheated to 350, and I like to do 2 cookie trays at once. You do you, whatever you want. I know that you're cooking with Amy today, so if you learned something new, great. If you don't like the way that I did something, that's fine, because it's your kitchen. You do your kitchen, you do you. You make your own cookies however you want. I hope you take some of my suggestions with you, and I hope that you really enjoy these. It says bake 10 to 12 minutes. My oven, that's the word, my oven runs a little hot, so I only did 10 minutes, and I actually might drop it down to 9 so they're a little bit more gooey on the inside. Make sure that as soon as they come out of the oven, you let them rest, because they're gonna be super hot. Go ahead and take a little spatula and either move them onto parchment paper or a wire rack or something like a wood cutting board, something that it won't melt, and make sure that you wait until they're cool, because these are gonna be ooey gooey, and I don't want you to burn the top of your mouth, because I want you to enjoy 2 of them. All right, send me a picture of what yours looks like. I hope they are fabulous. Next week, we will post, I even forgot what people voted on this morning. We will post what the next cookie is, and we only have 3 more weeks of the summer. So next week we have a cookie, and the last 2 weeks of summer I'm going to really mark it on the bars. So we will do a fudge brownie bar, and we will do a chocolate chip cookie bar, okay? So that you will need some sort of like a lasagna pan or a glass dish or something, so you'll be able to cut them into squares. All right, au revoir for now. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.